Everybody's Patrick at the pitch deck. We're here with the round 5 for the Greentree Pro Quest. Round 3, we got turn 0 dishonored by Katsu. So definitely not showing that. I did record the entire thing, but it's not very pretty whatsoever. It was kind of just one of those things you just can't dodge. And it was basically double dishonor to back it up. And I was defenseless whenever he went turn 1. We got Dawnblade Dory for counting for pitch stack as well. For this one, we did pitch stack the Levia, so now pitch stacking a Dawnblade Dory. So coming in for 5, I don't mind them cycling. We get a little damage, but typically now, since heavy hitters, you don't care to attack. You don't really have to attack if you're stacking, because you're just going to give them the agility through take it on the chin, and then it may clump up their hands because they want to hold it, because you think they're going to think you're attacking them. So take it on the chin is just best just to let them hold it in their hand, or then pitch it towards other things. Let them waste it towards that, and you might be able to track them if you're lucky. Hatchets are a little bit more punishing when it comes to the go-agains. So we end up putting 2 blues and then the tome. That way we kind of have a buffer there. So now it's 7. So it would be Scalding Rain, Prog, Tome, Scalding Rain. So once we see the very next Scalding Rain, we'll have to say that's our last one. And then go from there. But I didn't do that just for the sake of the edit of this video. So went in with lead the speed. So this is actually a very interesting deck. Very attack oriented. Sorry, let me repeat myself. Very action oriented more than attack reaction. I noticed when I was playing, lead the speed isn't odd. However, there was other things that we'll come across later on in the game that kind of make me scratch a little bit on my head. Said that's interesting. I like where you're going. It's not the norm type of thing. So we end up taking 6, but he doesn't have any go again, so he's going to end up popping the bolties here. With the bolties, he's going to attack again, and I really didn't want to give him a very first counter this early, but I do want to be able to use the Homofine Dome more effectively, meaning have the full hand when I do this, so that way I can put a lot of cards within the pitch stack type of deal. So we end up giving 6 to the 3 to see if he has anything, because of the fact that he may only have 1 card and then 1 in arsenal. So there is the fact that he would have to do 2-3 attack reactions to go over. It would have to be like 2-0 costs, because I think he had nothing afterwards. That's why we safeguard the counter this way still. I would like to have put this pod on, but it's fine. But I wanted to clear out the arsenal for D-reacts, which we do happen to find one. And we can put the flare towards our pitch stack, so that way it's enough. This is the second blue, the D-pot is the second blue coming into the tome. And then we can just get the, or potentially, yeah, I think that was the second blue, because there was a blue underneath at the very beginning. So this is the last blue. We can just have this as a combo piece. So tome blue blue combo piece. So that's also fine. But we kind of have a second combo piece, which can be uncommon for you to do. For having Spindle in the beginning of it, you can kind of have it after the wildfires, and then you can make up whatever you want at the beginning. So it's like wildfire type of thing, and then put the Spindle where you need it, and kind of have a jumbled up pitch stack, because if you've got a couple of wildfires, you might be able to just have the opt be jumbled up and you can fix it. So we end up IPing ourselves anyway, which I think was okay, but he comes in with a pretty heavy attack, so it's a little awkward with this certain configuration that we have in our hand here. We have the unmovable. It is coming in or a hefty 5, I think. No, I think this is lead with speed to recreate it, but still give it go again. No, commanding performance. So we go ahead and give this so we can potentially use the Oasis to go back in into our arsenal. That'd be pretty good. And then play the potion, but he's pumping it over. So it's now 7 to 8. Is 7 to my 8. And then Blade Fury is going to be coming over for one more. Which if I took one and then I block with Spindle just to like safeguard against a 3 block type of thing, I don't think that's crazy. So it's just still damage that I'm going to take an extra. I'm going to go ahead and give this Oasis. Because the next Dawnblade is going to be coming in for an additional 2 plus a 3, so I can't 3 block it anyways. So yeah, this was correct. So we cover it up, definitely preventing a lot of damage. So we go ahead and put the pot down, have the flare along with the spindle in our pitch deck. We can end up giving 9 here, and then pocket the D-React as well, the unmovable. Now another commanding performance coming in. Generally this isn't too scary. This is one of the actions that I was thinking of that it's not uncommon, but still you don't particularly see it, especially when it comes into Wizard. But I also want you to take note that Goblet, I think that's what it's called, he's playing it before the attack comes in, which means he probably doesn't have a go again already in hand. Because if he did have a go again, he could play it after giving the sword go again, unless he probably doesn't have any attack reactions as well to go over, even if we did block, and then guarantee that he could get the Goblet to come in after the first swing. So that is why I blocked 6, exactly, because I still have something to back it up if at all possible. I wouldn't want to, maybe just let them have the counter and then reset it with the immovable, but I called it right that he didn't have a go again because the ordering of that turn was definitely key to remember. So we go ahead and get this regular blue out of the way and put the immovable into arsenal. So with this, we like to get our combo pieces into the mix for sure. Remember when there was a spindle there into our beginning combo, so we can put at least the blazing into this. I think I slightly messed up just a hair. I think when it comes to this block, I should have maybe done the blazing instead of putting the blazing into the stack over the wildfire. So I prioritized that slightly different, because then I can just make sure the next 2 wildfires that I see, hopefully I can see them and hold on to them, or hold on to at least 1 wildfire and hope that he has an Oasis. So there's a lot of considerations to block it. Since it's coming in for 5, go again on hit, draw a card. There's a lot of different things I'm thinking about. Maybe giving the 2 reds, we'll get the blues later on. Then think about maybe my original thought of blazing with a blue to give out the 6 block and then have the blue. That's why I didn't want to do double red, because then my combo piece isn't great. Double blue sucks because then I'll just get blown out. 9 block I get blown out. Like this. This is just Blade Flurry, but doesn't mean that he doesn't have anything to go over 9 block for his 6 attack. So I think this is the right call. But again, I probably could have prioritized the blazing over the wildfire. And I think I overblock majorly on this one. I think it's okay just to let them have the counter, or just maybe block the blue with the blue And then if it does happen to have a counter because they go over just a 3 block on the second swing, then I can just reset it with unmovable. Because he doesn't have any tokens afterwards, like in terms of agility tokens. But I'm still just preventing as much damage as possible, so either way is fine, but overblocking when I shouldn't has to happen sometimes because, you know, they're just, the hands just line up. So that is another card, is Slice and Dice. Slice and Dice in a Dawnblade deck is interesting to say the least, because it's almost premeditated that you have a go again built in, but you have to make sure that it hits to get the full value of Slice and Dice. So that's why I do 5, or sorry, I do 2 cards, which is 6 to the 4. And he's doing Iron Song, pushing it over, which is fine. As long as he doesn't give it go again, I'm okay. I'll just let the damage go through.
For 4? 4 over my... 4 over yours. Yeah, so 4 over because it's...
They did draw into those. I don't know if he had it in his hand from last turn. Meaning, I don't know if it was Blade Flurry and then Iron Song. Can't really know for sure. So we're okay taking 4 as long as there's no go again. We can just put the blazing that I'm hoping, so that way we can see it with our spindle combo. Since there's a flare to back it up, we're going to have a lot of opt. So we'll just go ahead and put that blazing in there and put the D-React into Arsenal. For the protection, basically. You see another blazing, which we can do double blazing if we really cared. We're not really getting too many tomes as well. We're seeing them going to be... end up seeing them late, especially in the beginning of the pitch stack. But we're seeing them now for this one here, but we can probably use it in our arsenal if we really cared. And we really don't need to, but it's nice to accelerate plus life. Even if we don't have it in our pitch stack, we have to kind of prioritize our potions then. Use the life buffer to have the potions, use our life as a resource to get them out if we're not having any homes within our stack. We have at least 1, but we can't go over those because it starts by 2 cards. Yeah, so we'd have to go by 62, basically. Or, well, yeah, we started it with 2 blues and then a tome. So yeah, we'd have to go over. But we want to draw into those 2 cards, so then we want to make sure that that's what we get. We don't want to go into the next one. We want 2 blues to be in our hand, so to speak. So we get the pot off here for the Kano, which is good. We do see another Slice and Dice, but it's backed up with Warrior's Valor, so that's, again, you kind of need to threaten the go again, but it's almost like it's unconditional go again and not automatic. So the Slice and Dice is very interesting. Along with the commanding performances, since they don't really do anything for us, they're just a +3. Since it's attack action based. So we end up having 7 come at us. We're just going to toss 12. A lot of the time, stories pretty much hate tossing 12. The reason why I'm tossing 12 is because he has a card in arsenal and a card in hand. And no floating. Basically, he can't let it hit and go again at the same time. Blocking 12 isn't a bad idea, especially if you don't want to dilute your stack. You just use this counter here to gain 2. We luck out to replace our arsenal. Well, that's good. But we also get another tome so we can accelerate towards our stack. We'll just go ahead and draw 2 again.
Draw 2 more.
We end up seeing our second sync. I think this is our very second red sync. Go ahead and Kano here. We do get it into, but we're gonna hesitate here for just a second on playing it. There's consideration to put this in. It is diluting a stack so that it bricks later on, which is another consideration not to do it. 1, it's gonna brick your stack. Even though it's already somewhat complete, it's gonna be in there later on. We don't really care for that. 2, like I mentioned before, take it on the chin, allows them to have an agility. We don't really know what is in their hand. So we're going to go ahead and just pass. IP ourselves, and that'd be fine. So we just go ahead and block for 3. See, no, agility is pretty easy. So you just block and then have 2 D-racks to help out. This isn't give and go again, but I do need to clear out my arsenal so I don't IP myself. So whenever I use the arsenal, I guess I could use either one. It really doesn't matter too much. But I really wasn't seeing any Iron Song determinations either. I didn't really see them all game, which is kind of like a mainstay piece. But this isn't really giving a go again because it's if it is blocking with an attack action, that it would give the agility. But I don't have any attack actions. I just had the action, so that I just wanted to make sure because I thought there was an agility to be backed up whenever it does that. I just had to make sure. No agility, it's just damage, that's fine.
Keep it there.
We see the oasis here. We're going to park our 3rd potion like we wanted to. Make sure we get that into the arena. Seeing our 3rd Tomafindo, I think. So we'll have one more red Tome, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong. We just want to double check our graveyard. And then now he plays a hit and run. Well, that's also something you typically don't see. It's automatically giving it go again. But you're not having the attack gain go again conditionally. I guess, no, it is giving it conditionally, but you have to make sure it hits so that you can actually use the go again. So that's your 1 card down to go over whatever I'm blocking. So it's an interesting call to say the least. This is the last Iron Song Iron Song. So we can cover this easily no matter what. It just depends on what we're going to do here. And we sink towards the bottom in Oasis. So that way we can further our stack and get whatever we can just use this tome to further it faster. We don't need the life. We're 25 life at 54 right now. So I slightly mess up on my stack number count basically, but I make it work whenever we get to the top of it.
Yeah, you're good.
So we'll go ahead and accelerate. We see 2 blues. But we do end up seeing another our last wildfire towards the top here. Like I mentioned, you could do wildfire. Then you can do the flare, but it's typically not needed, so that's why I'm thinking on this one. Because we can shoot damage, and like I mentioned before, it's not needed, because it just gives them an agility token.
Yep.
Got a lead with speed coming in here, coming in for 6. Not threatening anything too crazy. But we do need to get rid of this sink.
No blocks.
And we need to get into 2. However, the sink was correct in terms of sinking a card. But I think I went over too much. So I mentioned before at the very beginning that we see Scalding Rain, Fog, and then Tome. So then now we're at our stack completely. So when we're into our stack, we're over it slightly, so we're at +1. So I should have had a feeling to just IP 3 here, basically. Just draw 1 card, and then we're good. But it's fine because there's Tome Blue, meaning that we still have blues in our stack, so we should be fine. So we're just going to shoot this for 2 and then try to opt if we can.
2 damage.
The stripped cards is fine, even if it's like given agility towards the end. The beginning, shooting at the beginning and in the mid is less inclined, but towards the end when you've already had stack, it doesn't really matter if they get an agility. Let them tap out, actually, it's more inclined to do so at the end. So that way they can consider attacking twice. So there's more resources and things like that gone. So we end up having 3 come in. We'll just say instant, no blocks. Snap, no blocks. We do go over to see the tone blue that we have, but then there's flare and then there's spindle. We know those 2 are there.
Say that again.
No reaction.
Okay. Take 3.
Take 3.
20.
Make sure we get the lives right to say, yeah, you're good. So we see another card being played. It's a hit and run. So it'll give the next one +3,
That's fine.
which is
Close up the chain. Yep. And then
really good
1 float, right?
1 floating.
for damage wise, but it's good for us because it's 1 less resource and 1 less resource being used here for the floating. So it is good, but typically they can have a lot and still survive. A lot of resources and health and things like that, but with what we've got going on, two medium combos should be enough. If not, 1 large. We'll see the flare here. Then we'll see the spindle that we mentioned. And then just a whole bunch of blues, so we know there's a blues going to be there. So with this combination, I don't think we need the second wildfire. However, there is the possibility to get through it because we haven't really seen Oasis the entire game. The sneaky arsenal could be Oasis, but you never know. Even if there was Oasis, I think we can still go with this wildfire. I think that's how I guard against it. We pop everything and then shoot the wildfire to see if he has any Oasis and then respond to it. I think, if I'm not mistaken. But if there was Oasis, I think I have it in the back of my mind that he doesn't have it. Then you shouldn't be playing this staff. In the back of your mind, if you think there's Oasis coming in, then you should do that. You should do it on the second wildfire.
And Tunic as well.
But I think, yeah, that's where I mess up slightly. Or at least it helps me guard against the Oasis that could be there. This is correct in what I do with shooting the wildfire, kind of bait it out in case I don't need it. Then I can just sink it with the rags. But I think I respond to the Metacarpus trigger whenever I play it and then do it. Like I play the wildfire, get the trigger to come through, show the nodes it's on the stack.
Metacarpus trigger will go on the stack.
And then before I pass Bordy back, then I do the rags, see the blue, and then put the wildfire to the bottom. So just a slight min-maxing to guard against potential Oasis. Because if he did have Oasis and then I'm passing priority back to him before the nodes is paid, then I'm fucked.
Priority passes back to you. Do you want to do anything for instant speed?
So basically I'm just explaining to him how the priority comes in. We have exactly what we need with 4 resources. Paying into it would be giving it 6. And then the flare with the spindle is enough to be paid for with the 3 resources left over. And then we can get the last Kano with what the blue that we have in our hand. It does have taken on the chin. And And then he automatically tries to AB, but then I'll explain to him that I'll
I'm going to
respond to it first.
and then you would still have the floating and the card in your hand, so I'm going to
There is the math I've already done afterwards, but I should have just let it resolve and him take it down to 2, which it still kills. Like, I'm trying to do it fancy with trying to block it out. I think I went a little bit too fast. I should have done the math already. Well, Wildfire comes in for 2. Flare comes in for 5, so that's 7 to the Spindle's 4. So that there's already 11 damage. I get to opt 11, but then Blazing is already going to see 11 plus the 7, plus the 2. So then that'd be 19, 21.
It's going to be 3, but if you take the full 3, it's going to block this, and then you can AB whatever you want to do. So this is already resolved.
Over the 19, I think it was lethal if I'm not mistaken.
I'm trying to shoot this.
So we're going to basically keep explaining to him that how I'm trying to get this to be popped.
So if I'm understanding where I'm at correctly,
Yeah.
this is still coming in for 1.
This is coming in, yeah, right now, because if you just like AB1, this can just take the...
Oh yeah. Whenever the Blazing comes in, it deals 20. Whenever he's already at... The entire line would have been 38 when he's at 37. And I should have done the math already. Which is fine, we can still deal the damage that we need, because we have the jumbled up pitch stack. Basically, I could have just killed right here, and it could probably make a difference, but probably not, because you just don't know if the Oasis later on comes in. But this is enough to drop him down to 4, which 4 is still dead, no matter what.
9.
Just a little quick note. You can go ahead and take your time, which I didn't. Take your time with the math it out. Even if you think that you can pop the take it on the chin with another spell, doesn't matter if you can pop it with another spell, and that it, because I did do this, that it's still not enough to kill. But if I let it hit, oddly enough, and I say that because typically when the Wildfire is lower, the longer the string of combo, generally it has it to where it affects it the most. Rather than a shorter combo, it's affecting it less because there's less damage that is preventing. The more complicated and more longer the line typically is, it'll prevent more. Generally, that's why I went with a prevention thing there towards a flare, towards the take on the chin. So we do see the Blazing. We have 4 blues on top. We have Wildfire, Blazing, 0 cost, and then we can just finish with that type of little mini combo. So it's uncommon for this type of thing to happen, where it's like Wildfire, Spindle, and then the damaging spell at the end, and they still win or they still survive for the post combo. I mentioned in my pitch stacking video that you can do 2 medium combos. This is the example right here. But if I did math, like I mentioned, it would have been dead. It's all good. We can go ahead and guarantee kill here. Wildfire, Blazing, Ether Arc. Ether Arc is so good.
Yep. Go again. Kano.
But we end up being 3-2 after this, going into round 6. Round 6 is a AB2 Prism, or sorry, AB1 Prism. We end up losing that. The battery took too long on this one, so we didn't get around to recording it, but it doesn't matter. I still wouldn't record it. This AB1 Prism sucks to go into as well, so it doesn't really matter. Prism is Prism, no matter what. So we end up losing that and going 3-3 this Pro Quest. Thanks for watching, guys.